I'm more of a lead by example, and then when I feel like it's needed I'll step in and talk to guys. But I like to give guys their space and let them figure it out for themselves. The best kind of parent you can be is to lead by example. Lead by example. Women often wait for permission instead of acting, and I try to encourage bold action. I'm going to announce in the very near future, I'm going to lead by example and start paying 20% of my health insurance. Talk is cheap, but when you go out there and prove it, you're the first one to show up for practice, and you're the last to leave. That's how you lead by example. Directing, I just feel comfortable. I know what I want. I know what I want from my crew. I lead by example. I have limitless energy as a director. I think it's just important for people to lead by example. We need more of those characters that lead by example for people coming up next to us. It's great to be somewhat of a role model. I want to be a positive and good role model and lead by example and try to do the best I can. Playing good golf definitely draws attention, but I want to have a good attitude on the course and do the right things. Leaders in all spheres who are living with HIV should be encouraged, not coerced, to lead by example and disclose their HIV status. City of Los Angeles is my home, and it is my duty to lead by example, contribute all that I can, and help make the world a better place with the tools and resources available to me. If things are not going well on the field, then it's up to me to lead by example. Business executives need to start by spelling out and communicating their values. Then they need to lead by example. This means getting rid of the bad apples and declining opportunities that bring instant wealth at the cost of selling one's soul. The tech industry's love for scrappy, accessible founders adds to the pressure. You're expected to lead by example, to roll up your sleeves, to know everything going on. I've always just tried to be a guy who will lead by example, and I feel like if something has to be said, I will say it. Being the vice captain, you see a lot of things on the field. You have to try and help the captain as much as you can and lead by example on the field. Small things like getting a run out or taking a catch makes the other boys try and lift their standards. So yes, I do have an important role, even if I'm not captain. If I feel compelled or feel that I really need to say something at a certain time, I'll say it. But more do than not, I'm trying to lead by example. I don't think you can control people. I don't think you manage people. I think you give people a direction, you give them the resources, you lead by example. They get it right, you say, atta girl. And they get it wrong, you say, not good. I'm trying to lead by example, but I'm definitely challenging myself to be a better player, the player I want to be. I lead by example. Everybody sees it. LeBron James has proven he can lead by example. My wish for LeBron is to understand the following. He's an exceptional leader because he leads by example. The next step on the road to legend, which he's already on, is to trust he's the best player in the best system anywhere in basketball. I'm a practitioner of elegant frugality. I don't feel comfortable telling other people what to do, so I just try and lead by example. When I got to be a CEO, I said, right. I'm now going to tackle gender inequality head-on. I'm going to make a difference and lead by example and actively put in place policies and practices to support women. I will respect the limits of my experience, but that won't stop me from trying to lead by example of my work. Being a good teammate and picking them up on and off the field is a simple goal of mine. You lead with direction, and you try to lead by example. I try to be there when things are not good and obviously share the spoils of success. I think that's kind of who I am. I just try to be vocal and try to lead by example. I try to lead by example. Parents must lead by example. Don't use the cliché, do as I say and not as I do. We are our children's first and most important role models. I'm not super outgoing, but I think the biggest thing I can do is lead by example. Don't just tell your kids to be active and to get outside and play. Lead by example. Of course there are certain things that get to me, but I try and lead by example and show people that, especially with haters, that you should just ignore them. The first thought that I had about really trying to get sober was, man, I could do a lot of good in the world. I can lead by example and just be this heroic recovery guy. And that's just a bad reason to get sober. You can't get sober for anybody's benefit, let alone the world at large. You really got to do it for yourself. I'm going to come in and be a hard worker, and I'm going to try to lead by example and be a great teammate, and everything on the field is going to take care of itself. Every time I get on the court, I want to push my teammates to be better as a leader and lead by example. You have to lead by example. You have to be the calmest person in the room. You have to be very open. I think the qualities of a director are to enable and to find the best in everybody. Life is never going to be perfect, as much as we want it to be, and I have to lead by example. Whether I'm captain or not, I always like to think that I lead by example anyway. I do the same things as I always do and try to help the group out. On the court as well as off the court, I'm going to do everything that's right and try to lead by example. Our state senate must lead by example, restore trust and transparency, stop sweeping workplace misconduct under the rug, and do everything we can to protect women who work in and around the capital. By far, the greatest contribution Ireland can make is to lead by example, by actively pursuing its own transition to a sustainable, low-carbon economy. I try to lead by example, being conscious of others and being responsible. I'm very much a lead by example person. I actually think that the most efficacious way of making a difference is to lead by example, and doing random acts of kindness is setting a very good example of how to behave in the world. I think a lot of people that don't know me would say that I lead by example, which I feel like I do. But at the same time, I'm someone who's always been very upfront with people. I'm gonna get straight to the point. As a leader, these attributes, confidence, perseverance, work ethic and good sense, are all things I look for in people. I also try to lead by example and create an environment where good questions and good ideas can come from anyone. I'm just trying to go out there and play the game the right way and lead by example. I lead by example. My kids know what sweat is. They've seen me come home from so many runs and asked, "What's on your skin? How did you get it?" And I tell them, "It's from exercise." So now my son will come home from a bike ride, take off his helmet and say, "Look, Mom, I'm sweating, I just worked out." I would say that my role model, as far as just somebody leading by example, which to me is what a great youth counselor does, they are there to talk to and lead by example, would be my mom. But she wasn't a youth counselor. She was a teacher, and she is a good person and definitely one of the biggest influences in my life. Me personally, I'm always going to lead by example first, but there are moments where I need to use my voice and go up to a guy and get my message across. We Americans are world leaders and we must lead by example, particularly in times that require careful deliberation before any precipitous action, lest we fail to walk in the shoes of those we might injure. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.